Given that I shoot a lot with Pentax gear, I have inevitably been asked what I think about Pentax's new APS-C flagship camera that they're prepared to release next year. And now that we have more details about it, I guess I will finally publicly give you my opinion. I think that the Pentax K-3 Mark III will take some beautiful pictures. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about this. Honestly, some people are going to be a little bit mad about this, but the most exciting thing I think about the Pentax K-3 Mark III is that the price of these guys, the original K-3, I think are going to go down. You're going to see a flood of these on the market in the next couple of years, and that's super exciting for people like me, aka cheap people. As is, you can already buy one of these for about $300 to $400, depending on the condition, and that's a really good deal, as I'm about to show you. This is going to get really tiring really fast if I keep this lens on the whole time. I have a really special place in my heart for this Pentax K-3 because it was the Pentax camera I went back to when I started to shoot primarily Pentax again. I wanted something rugged, weather sealed, something affordable without compromising image quality at all. And to boot, this camera was cheaper than the equivalent APS-C cameras from other manufacturers at the time. So, way to go Pentax. I remember when I first bought the Pentax K-3 used, like I said, years ago, and I held it for the first time, and it just feels so good. It's one of the nicest feeling cameras I've ever held. But it just feels so nice. The controls just feel like they're in the right spot. It doesn't feel cheap, it feels sturdy. The little metal bits on there instead of all plasticky and like it's going to shatter if you drop it. This actually might shatter if you drop it. I think most cameras would. But I have used this camera in snow and in rain, and that was so exciting for me to take it out in those conditions and shoot. And the pictures looked great, but maybe more exciting was the look on people's faces. It was like the horrific, you're gonna break your camera and that's so expensive look. It's not like I like torturing people, but still it was kind of funny. Even though the Pentax K-3, the original one, is now 7 years old, and that does sound pretty old, the image quality is beautiful and stands up very well even now. It's hard to imagine needing that much more image quality and dynamic range except for extreme scenarios, which I know. I shoot astrophotography, I shoot weird low light situations. I always love the increase of image quality. But the dynamic range on this camera is crazy. I remember when I first got it and I was shooting with it, just the leap of image quality from my several gen old camera to this one. The scenes you could take in one exposure with both the highlights and the deep shadows and blend together was incredible. It felt unstoppable. And I know dynamic range keeps getting better and better, but you might want to stop and ask yourself every now and then, how much dynamic range do I really need? You know, I'm not a super technical photography person. You'll know that if you watch my channel for a while now. But one technological feature I find really helpful in cameras, and particularly Pentax cameras, is the shake reduction feature. It just makes a world of a difference. You can shoot at such low shutter speeds handheld, and yeah, it looks great, no problems. It's just another thing that translates to a sharper, cleaner image in those weird scenarios where you need that. Also, I shoot a decent amount of video. I'm shooting video right now on my Pentax K-1. So I do appreciate that the K-3 can shoot video. And while it's not particularly good video, the bitrate is super low, it can look a little bit soft at times. The fact that it's there is really awesome, and it doesn't look half bad. Another funny thing, and I have to laugh about this, because manufacturers still to this day are trying to figure this out and get it right, but they put a mic jack on the K-3. This is so Pentax. I can imagine them sitting around Rico's boardroom or whatever, talking about adding video to the K models, starting with the K7, and said, well, if we're going to add video, then people are going to want to add their own audio. Like, duh. So thank you, Pentax, for that. And that actually makes it a fairly capable video camera. I wouldn't buy it just for videos, because for the price, you can buy a used Panasonic's GH3 or GH4, depending how you stretch your budget and deal you find. And I've owned those cameras before, and the video does look quite a bit better. But for what you get, not bad. I do shoot with it. It's pretty awesome. I've used enough cameras now to stop making ridiculous claims like what camera is the best, because there's really no camera that is the best. Depends on you, your situation, your budget, what matters to you. It can come down really to even just the feel. I can like this camera, it can produce good image quality, but if you don't like the way it feels, then I was going to throw it, but I'm not going to do that. But you could toss it away. It doesn't matter. That being said, I do think this camera offers a lot for the money. Like I said, $300 to $400 on the used market right now. Might start to see that drop closer to the steady around $300 mark after this new camera releases. We'll see. $300 to $400 gets you a super capable modern camera, and that's super exciting. I will say that if you're in the Pentax system already or looking to jump to Pentax and you're looking at this model, maybe also look at the K-70, which is about the same price right now in the used market. It's a much more modern camera. They're very different in a lot of ways. The K-3 has some flagship kind of features, has a very different feel to it, but the K-70 is more modern. It has a more modern processor. I owned the K-70 for only a week to shoot with it, and it was awesome. Enough for me to recommend it for sure. But go ahead and compare them side to side and see which features are useful to you. Thanks for watching. Where are my K-3 shooters out there? I want to hear about you guys. I love the K-3, and it would be hard to let this camera go. Are you holding out for the K-3 Mark III? Which is a mouthful to say, kind of a tongue twister. Or are you going to be holding on to this guy for the foreseeable future? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment here, and don't forget to check out my new forum, snappiness.space. By the time you're watching this, there will be a discussion thread for this video, and you can leave a comment there and discuss. Feel free to join the community there as well to talk about whatever photography related. Remember to go out there and shoot wherever with whatever, and until next time, happy snapping. We'll talk about this beast in a future video. It's pretty awesome. I thought I'd regret buying it. It's pretty expensive, and I'm just kind of getting into telephoto photography right now, but it's really, really nice.